What's the show about? What am I talking about, you know? To summarize the show, though, me. But if you take one thing away from my show, I hope it's a t-shirt. We're selling them out there. And at burnham.com. This is all a front for the brand. But what is the show about? What do you think, industrial piping? Close. Stay out of it. It's about... Mute this. But for real, what is it about? It's about performing. I try to make my show about other things, but it always ends up becoming about performing. I started performing very young, as a teenager, you know, professionally, and as a comedian, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to talk about what you know. And what I knew always was performing. So to talk about traffic or laundry felt incredibly disingenuous, but I worried that making a show about performing would be too meta, it wouldn't be relatable to people that aren't performers. But what I found is that I don't think anyone isn't. Could we get the house lights up for a second? And could you let the lights on stage, let the artifice fade away? Now we're all the same. I mean, you're all facing this way still. You know, I look out at you and it's a very diverse crowd. I mean, more European than I would have hoped, but we'll get there. I look at the young people, you know, and I feel like I was born in 1990 and I was sort of raised in America when it was a cult of self-expression, and I was just taught, you know, express myself and have things to say, and everyone will care about them. And I think everyone was taught that, and most of us found out no one gives a shit what we think. So we flock to performers by the thousands because we're the few that have found an audience, and then I'm supposed to get up here and say, follow your dreams, as if this is a meritocracy. It is not, okay? I had a privileged life, and I got lucky, and I'm unhappy. They say it's like the me generation. It's not. It's not. The arrogance is taught, or it was cultivated. It's self-conscious. That's what it is. It's conscious of self. What the social media, it's just the market's answer to a generation that demanded to perform. So the market said, here, perform everything to each other all the time for no reason. It's prison. It's horrific. It is performer and audience melded together. What do we want more than to lie in our bed at the end of the day and just watch our life as a satisfied audience member? I know very little about anything, but what I do know is that if you can live your life without an audience, you should do it. And now you're thinking, how the fuck are you gonna dig the show out of this weird hole? Oh, you want me to be funny and make a point? Nah. Batman. So, how do we do it? We do it like this. I went to Kanye West's recent tour, the Yeezus tour. It was a big, dramatic, theatrical show. He did something very strange at the end of his show where he ranted for like 20 minutes. It was kind of a rant, kind of a song. He had auto-tune on his voice, and there was an instrumental in the background. Like this instrumental. He talked about his problems. Race. Power. His $90 t-shirts weren't selling very well. That was most of it. And I watched this. I thought maybe I could do this. I'll be honest, my problems are not as high stakes as Kanye's, but I have problems. And maybe a crowd in New York would be nice enough to indulge me. So as we get to the end of a night of theater and comedy and sweaters coming on and off, I got one question for you. And that question is,